Welcome back to Single Player Party. On this show, I am giving you the Kickstarter board games that are solo, can be played solo, or have some kind of solo elements to them, so that you don't have to go sifting through all of the stuff that's on Kickstarter, even in the tabletop section where you've got all the STL files, RPGs, and other board games where there's just a lot coming out. So this is the weekly roundup. And these are the games that are solo on Kickstarter right now since the last time I've brought you the last list. And down below there'll be links to all of the projects and timestamps in the video where I talk about them briefly. It was kind of a slow week on Kickstarter until Tuesday hit, and then of course got slammed with a bunch of good stuff. We're looking at the King Daddy right here, Cool Mini or Not, launched Masters of the Universe, the board game, and as you can see, I'm back in it. I'll talk about this one first. This is a classic Cool Mini or Not miniatures game. Lots of miniatures. It's got their little plastic plates like they've done in so many different games. Later editions of Zombicide and Darkness. One, third Darkness one. So this is off to a crazy start, as most of them are. A Massive Darkness, thought of it. So almost at $800,000, only 2 days in. So just past $800,000. This is probably hit like a 2 million. Tends to be kind of what they hit these days. It's 1 to 5 player, 14 plus, 1 hour long. The base pledge gets you the main board game with a bunch of miniatures, and the key here is whether if you haven't backed a Cool Mini or Not miniatures game, what they'll do is they'll package up all of the Kickstarter stretch goals into a separate box, so you'll get 2 boxes for your base pledge, and it's pretty cool. I mean, they've got it down to a science. If you go to this upgraded one, you're going to get the base game plus Castle Grayskull. I mean, this one's got super nostalgia for me. Even has them on their Battle Cats, which is rad. So you've got He-Man on a Battle Cat, and then you've got Skeletor on the Panther War. And this is just classic 80s greatness. I think you play as either side, which is cool. So if you want to be Skeletor, you can. I have some friends shout out Tim, who would probably love to play Skeletor. And so they were doing something where they were showing a daily secret unlock, and I'd like to get down to that. There's a lot to show here. The paint jobs on these are pretty rad too. They got gameplay videos. This is just classic everything. So you've got your day one, which is a King Raindor NPC model, which is interesting. I wonder what that means he does as an NPC in the game. That'd be cool to find out. And then alternate curve tile terrain overlays. So that's interesting. I think they made some stuff double-sided. Hi, kitty. So waiting for tomorrow's unlock. The stretch goals have been coming fast and furious. It's mostly for miniatures, so as they do with all their stuff, they're upgrading. These are interesting. So these plants, the boulder, and there's an armory one here that are all upgraded tokens for the map tokens becoming 3D models. So that's really cool. And then classical optional buys and stuff. So the video is professionally done, everything's great. And something about these Cool Mini or Not ones, I'll back a lot of these at $1, and most of them I don't follow through with buying because I don't have money to buy any of them. This one will be cool. I will be trying to get some funds together to support this one, but what I'll do is they always go to a pledge manager, and it's not going to help the stretch goals, but there's a lot of people who have to do it who might be in my situation. Is you've got 40, let's just round this up to 4,500 backers, and then in here you have let's call that 500, and then we'll call this 3,400. So 3,900. That means you got about 500 backers that are all backing at the $1 level probably. Now, if all of us $1 backers came into the game at the full all-in price, this would be just over $1 million now. So there is a miss out on that, but it's either I do it this way or I don't do it at all. So I do believe in backing where you can, but on something like this where it's not going to hurt them, they keep their pledge managers open a very long time. I'm just going to hold on to my money as long as I can, or use this time to maybe raise some funds to come up with this. I don't usually buy Cool Mini or Not ones, just they're kind of expensive, but this one is very cool. This would be something that I would actually really want. The gameplay looks really good too. So enough fanboying out over Cool Mini or Not. The next thing I've got for y'all is called Mayflower Pilgrims co-op card game. So this one does not look like it's gonna fund, but this is an excellent time for me to bring up that currently I am going to try to show you every single thing that can be played solo at every project, whether it's going to fund or not. Put it on your radar. It might get canceled, it might get relaunched, it might be something you want to reach out to the designer. Maybe they're going to release, if they never decide to release it, maybe they'll be print and plays. It might be something you fall in love with. Playing all the games I've played, you know, it's not quantity over quality. So when you find a game you love, I'd rather find a game I love and play it over and over rather than, I mean, I do like to try to play everything I can, but in order to amass all these games, sometimes a print and play or reading the rule book, you know, you can read a rule book and be like, get to the end, look at components, be like, I don't really want to play this game. But I wanted to put this on people's radar. It's a lot of text. You don't got a lot of game elements here. So it's missing all the things you would need. Let me just click on the video real quick. It's kind of missing everything you would need to be. The video's not too bad, actually. Without looking at the audio, the video's actually not that bad. It's created 8. You want to go, kitty? You want to go? You want to stay? Okay, you stay. So, nope, you want to go. Kitty's gonna go. Pardon my static. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can go. Okay, you can stay. You can keep changing your mind all you like. That's fine. Okay, so this one for you to scope out on your own. Like I said, it's not gonna fund, so I don't think I'm gonna waste too much time with it. This one was really cool. So I don't, okay, they've got 54 backers packing in more than $100 each, so that's kind of a lot. It is made in Spain. It may fund 17 days left. They're about halfway there. I mean, there's something for Kickstarter creators. Go ahead, kitty. There's something for Kickstarter creators where if you have a lot less backers, but you reach your goal and you can get the game produced, you're actually saving a lot of money. You're going to have a lot of copies to sell on the back end. And if people overpaid, obviously that's more money for you, but you have a lot less expenses in like shipping, especially. So it's an expensive game, €80 for the early pledge. Sorry, doing this late at night. That's all I can do. But the dice, the miniatures are dice, which are really cool. So I really like the way it is. It looks like there's like a D4 paladin, a D6 kind of ranger, a D8 wizard, kind of Gandalf. He's got a sword, which you don't see a lot. Maybe another, what is that? can't tell what these two are. This is another D8, just kind of at a different angle. Looks like a rogue. It probably says it down below, but I'd rather guess. I'm having fun guessing. And then you got like probably I would say this has to be a D10. A D10 dwarf warrior with his little mug, and then a D20 bard. Go bards, right? And then, you know, bad guys, you got the D6 skeletons and a D20 final boss. I'm sure you can hear the cat in the background. That's cool. So yeah, this is pretty cool. It's like kind of gimmicky, but I like that. Maybe it's been done before, but I've never seen it. I love the idea of it because, oh look, there's dead dice built into the terrain. So it comes with all the scenery, which is really cool too. But everything's unpainted. I don't have time to paint anything. I would like some pre-painted miniatures, but this is already expensive, and that would probably just jack up the price a whole lot more. So, you know, it is what it is. This one looks like it's gonna make it and is pretty cool. Next up, we've got the Little Flower Shop. So it's 1 to 4 players. I like the art style a lot. You got Dr. Finn's Games. He's created 28 games. So back with confidence. He's about to hit his funding goal. They, them, whatever. They're about to hit their funding goal. So 244 backers, $10,000. That sounds about right. So everything looks dialed in. 11 days to go. This was a shorter campaign, which I'm seeing a lot of shorter campaigns. But the components are really beautiful in this game. This one's really cool. This one's on my radar. Something that I would hope to, since it's kind of fun, this is going to be out there. Hopefully I can pick up in a board game swap or something down the line and give it a try. It's very cute. I like it. I already have some cute games like this that I'd like to play with my wife or family or whatever, and I haven't got them to the table yet, so I can't create too much of a backlog of stuff like this, especially buying it now, waiting for it to ship for so long from now. But that one looks good. Next up, we've got Magic Sword Tactics with some Chinese on it. And this has, I think this is actually Japanese. It's in Japanese. That's probably Japanese too then. Kind of, the art style is very simple. And the graphic design of the page, I feel could be reworked so well to kind of like capture the eye better. So, first created, it is coming out of Japan. They're asking such a low funding goal. It will probably fund unless everybody for some reason just flips around on their head. Interesting to see what this one's actually all about. I'm not going to spend too much time on that one, but now it's on your radar too. So we'll see if that's one. We're moving along here. This one's a must back. Of course, I'm backing it. I back all of this person's creations for the most part. So I'm a backer. And this is in Unsurmountable, which is from Button Shy Games. Jason Tagmeyer. Love all these games, especially the Scott Alms. You'll know him from the Tiny Epic series, I believe, and the Heroes of Land and Sea. And he's done a bunch of work for the Button Shy. The ones I really like are, Food Chain Island. That one's really good. Button Shy also does Sprawlopolis. I don't know if that's Scott or not. I believe Scott did Ugly Griffin Inn, which is That one's tough. It's a lot of reading on every card. I do like that game, but I kind of like for a quick solo. Food Shade Island is really fun, but I'm definitely picking this one up, and they're like $10. So they're just such great little pocket games, quick to play, quick to learn, hard to master kind of thing, that's truly the sweet spot of any game. So yeah, he's also got the Food Chain Island and the Ugly Griffin Inn, which on this one you can get some add-ons for. So if you have either of those games, yeah, there he is. Yep, Tiny Epic Series. So yeah, this one to me is a no-brainer. You should check it out. Might be a no-brainer for you as well. Here we have more of these single player, 1 to 2 player, heavy token GMT style games. This one looked like it was a bit more affordable than the others. Most of them seem like they retail around $80. I don't know if this one has less components, but you've got your suitability to solitaire very high. So if you like these crunchy token games, this one's definitely going to be one that's probably already on your radar. I'm still on the fence about these, like I said last week, and I'll probably say every time I see one of these, is I have 1 or 2 of them in my backlog, and I do want to sit them down. They tend to take up a lot of table space and a long time to learn the rules, and right now I'm going kind of for a smaller footprint and things that are quicker to learn, so that I can kind of get through my backlog a little quicker now, because I've got a lot of games to play. But this one is really cool, and so it's got a dual pack for this, and it looks like another game. It's the other game is in the details. It's Russia Besieged Deluxe Edition. So this is cool. If this is something I was into, I would be backing this one. It's interesting that they put such a low funding goal on these, but these guys, they're, Compass Games, I think I covered them in my first video. 32 games created, they're pumping them out. Now, since we've already saw one, I'm guessing that they're kind of got like this rolling distribution where they're creating them. They'll multiple on Kickstarter, or one will end and the next one will start, and then they're fulfilling on the back end. So with 32, they're not getting a lot of backers at once, but it's not like that's a small scene for these. So this might not even be on your radar, no matter how many times I bring these up. But I'm trying to be thorough with every solo, and you can skip ahead to the next one. With these ones, it's kind of niche, and they probably have a dedicated following, and they've probably fulfilled enough of the early ones that they probably haven't not fulfilled one. So there's your double negative equals positive. So I'm definitely interested in these kind of games. I need to play one, that way I know if I'm ever going to sit down and go through the crunchiness of trying to play one of those again. This one, the Red Burnoose, Algeria 1857, is about to fund, I think it's a 24-day campaign. Maybe this one popped up last week on Wednesday, right after my video. Only 121 backers. This guy, Matt Shoemaker's, created 3. Let's see the kind of status of those back ones. So funded and funded. So this first one had 715 backers. That's a lot. But Dig Dirt only had 59 and funded. This is interesting. Now, when did this end? And when did it fulfill? Not a solo game. Only 12 comments. Wow. Game shipping soon, July 21st, 2021. Okay, so it has been shipping. So this guy went with the, hey, my game's shipping out, I'll post the new game now. I mean, that's good that the game is on the way. And maybe he might not have done that here. So he might have made this one, then tried to get this one out before this one had delivered, which could definitely cause problems. Bees Lives, this one was has some single player elements, but you can order it. Let's see if we got a status on this one. Hope you're enjoying it. Means he delivered it. So fulfillment, Spanish rules 2019, 2020. Looks like he's doing it. I'm surprised he didn't send a blast for the new one to this one where you got way more backers. Interesting. Makes me want to look this one up on Board Game Geek and see what it's got going on. Anyways, this one looked pretty cool. I like the map. I like this art style, especially the backs of these cards. It's a lot of design on the back of a card. It's really cool. It's got a whole how to play. It seemed good with a lot of information here, so I like that. Some blurb from One Stop Co-op Shop. And an automata deck. Automata deck. I read this word all the time. I never say it out loud because I'm a solo player. I have nobody to say it to. I just read it all the time. So yeah, this is what is the price point to get in on this one? So $65. A little too much for me, but it seems cool. He even gives you a why to pledge now. There's no big publisher. The game will only be made with your support now during this campaign. That's true. That's heartfelt. And from a creator standpoint, can't do it without people jumping in on these. Just not going to get made. So please check this one out. We all have to decide. I'm never going to recommend like, oh, you should get one, but you should check this one out. There's some that don't bother checking them out. It either isn't going to fund, or probability wise, not going to be for most people. This one's going to find a home. It only has 121 backers. I have a feeling this one should go a little higher. So we'll see. Still a couple heavy hitters left. Actually, I think I've got like 3 heavy hitters besides whatever else I've got on the list. This one, Dog Park. So I don't know. The first thing when I hear Dog Park, I think of Welcome to Night Vale, and nobody's allowed to go in the dog park. The dog park is off limits. So that makes me laugh. But this looks cool. I love this. 221 unique dogs. That's funny. That's a lot of unique dogs. So I think that's really cool that whoever made this really dove in, and they got to put a little corgi on there. So this looks really cool. Lots of good art, lots of good information. It's gonna be a little expensive for me in pounds, so $54 just for the standard edition and $65 for the collector's edition. Now this would be something that would be on my radar, but again, nothing I have room in the budget for. So this one looks really cool. I don't know what the limit is on this one. It could be one of those Kickstarters that really picks up steam. Let's see if it's breaking any curves on KickTrack. I don't know if any of you check out KickTrack, but it's a good place to come for kind of like what's going on with certain games. So it's only day 3. This is actually a very strong second day. Usually the second day drop off is a lot worse. So the third point here, they're gonna get this. So the third day just started, I think. This one will be very interesting to watch because it has a chance to really break the curve of normally it's like a spike up, flat, and then spike up. But this one, and so it's like down, like asymptotic until it makes a nice U shape. this one has a chance to like really have like a high bowl. We'll call this the bowl instead of a shallow bowl. Because you never know when this gets picked up by, you know, a lot of Kickstarters, you know, are just kind of have like normal channels of getting the word out, but maybe they'll hit some source that's more mainstream or hasn't been touched upon yet, and could blow up. I mean, first created, this is nuts for a first created. So I don't know if they released other ones under like a personal name account or something, but this one's already interesting. About this one, another reason to check this out is you could take a gamble on it. Not a financial gamble, but just like I mean, you will be gambling your money whether or not you wasted it, but you know, some Kickstarters can have an aftermarket, and even not for that reason. For this, you could be involved in something where they still only do a low print run. Maybe they only quoted for a certain amount, and then they maybe aren't as ambitious about the print run. So if they got quotes for 2,500, 3,000, 3,500, or you know, maybe 4,000, and they have 3,500 backers, the sell through on the back end is going to be fast, and they're not going to have some for a very long time. So even though you wait a while to get this, you might be one of the only people to have it for a significant chunk of time, and you know, everybody wants to play it, so you might kill your own FOMO if you have one and you get to play it, and because the secondary ones are going to be really expensive. But then again, they might get 5,000 backers, and then they might put in an order for 10,000, because once you hit that high, you definitely want to have a lot to do a sell through and hit the next big price break on it. On just get a new quote and hey, what's the next price break? I've got 7,000 backers or 4,000 backers or whatever, and it's like, well, you know, there's a big discount. You know, if you print 7,500 or 10,000, and then you're just gonna do it, because unless the game has horrible gameplay, some kind of bad taste in your mouth, like bringing on the wrong publisher distributor, that's happened with some really cool games, Unbroken, which just leaves a sour taste in some people's mouths. So unless something like that goes wrong, this is kind of, I think that this is kind of one of those ones you want to keep your eye on. And if you have maybe like, if you're really into dogs or something, this one could be something special. So, you know, click that remind me button just like that. And you never know what's going to happen with one like that. So here we go. We got a really heavy hitter in this next one. So this one's already at $106,000, and that's with a much cheaper game. So look, you got more than double the amount of backers already on this one than the last one. And so this one is by the right here, from the team that brought you Calico and Cascadia. I don't pronounce things well. Cascadia. Both games that were really expensive on the secondary market. But here it says in the pledge manager, you will be able to get Kickstarter copies of those other ones. And this is a pretty cheap game as it is. So this is probably one I'll back. How long are they? 41 days. So this one's got a nice long campaign, and I have a feeling it's going to go nuts. But it's got a really cheap price point for getting a Kickstarter version of something. And you've seen them they've already done it twice. So they know how to deliver these, barring all the craziness that are the things that are out of creators' controls right now for manufacturing and shipping. Any of that can go wrong with any campaign at this point. If you're worried about that stuff, don't back anything at all. Just don't do it. But if you see they've already got probably connections for manufacturing, their distribution, because they've already sold through the other ones and brought it into the other retail channels. So I don't even need to say more to this one. You're going to check it out. You're probably going to back it. It looks cool. Problem you're running into now is there's a lot of good stuff on Kickstarter right now. So the next one is kind of interesting. This, as we scroll down, you will see these as like artistic infographics, which it's a little busy, but I like the idea a lot, and I find it a little compelling, and it looks cool, and I haven't seen many like this, so I like the way that the information is. A lot of it, there's a lot going on, there's a lot to read, a lot to absorb, and it's a little busy, but I do like this. This is what, what backing something in this vein that I may not have caught my eye initially. More is better on this stuff. You want to see as much as possible to build your excitement, build your confidence, build your enthusiasm. So this is one I'm going to come back to and kind of dig a little deeper into, and it's funded. It's got a lot of days left. It doesn't look like there's any funkiness going on with the totals. 524 backers for $30,000. That seems about right. That's pretty dialed in. No fishiness there, really. So it looks like people are genuinely excited about that one. So that is cool. Next, I have this triple hitter, which is Pewter Heroes Trilogy. And so it's on this list because this game we're just gonna point you at Alien Gateway. Alien Gateway is the only one that can be played solo. 1 to 4 players, 10 to 15 minutes. So that, I don't know if that includes setup time, but it looks pretty quick to set up. A little interesting. It might be a heavy-handed dice game. So it might be a beat your score type of solo, which works for some games. Starcade, I'm just saying, Starcade. It works for Starcade because it's an arcade game. You go for your high score. But I know a lot of people don't like high score, beat your own score games for solo. That's fine. And I agree for a lot of kind of like random games, but not for Starcade. You're in the arcade. You just beat your high score. And so this Alien one is £25, $30. The dollar ain't so bad against the pound, right? Or against the euro right now. It's the euro, sorry. The pound, it's take a pounding. So yeah, Alien Gateway. The other two do not have single player options on there for those. Next up, I have the Elementa Arcanum. So this one has a long funding goal, fit 14 backers for $1,000. What are they all backing at, like $80 each? It's kind of high. Especially for... This is interesting. This might be a little interesting the way that they do the player counts here. Collector's editions, non-collector's editions. To have a 4-player versus a 6-player. I'm pointing it out because it says it's got a 1-player option with a solo mode. I haven't checked this one out. I'm giving you a link right to the stuff so you don't have to skim past it on the Kickstarter, skim past a lot of other things to get to it. Here it is. My guess is that it isn't and probably shouldn't fund. I mean, just because something doesn't follow the standard model doesn't mean that that doesn't mean it shouldn't fund. Just, it's generally like they missed a step somewhere. Whether it's marketing or something's not exciting about the game. We'll have to find out later. I mean, yeah, I don't think that one's gonna fun. My main guess is not. And last but not least, a mega heavy hitter. This is the follow-up to the One Deck Dungeon series. You got One Deck Galaxy, which is, I believe, this one's I think the first One Deck Dungeon was single player only. I don't know if the first one was 1 to 2 players or if they've all always been 2 players. I've only ever played them solo. The One Deck Dungeon I only played solo. This one says, I believe, 1 to 2 players. Yeah. And it looks really the same, but cooler dice. It's got a deluxe version, which is interesting. I'll probably back at the lower level because it's got a really good entry point price, and you get a lot of stuff in the little box. But these cards, there's some interesting things going on over here. So I don't know what the difference is to One Deck Dungeon, because I've only played a few games, and I used the app, so it was nice for a lot of reasons. Oh, I played it on Switch, my Nintendo Switch, because it's nice to be able to play it portable. But yeah, it looks like these zones look similar. You roll that dice and fill in the boxes, and so you can use multiple dice here to achieve this. And then I don't know if it's the same if the black are heroic dice or not. But this looks like a lot of similar elements of One Deck Dungeon. But you've got other things going on over here. So I'm sure they were able to improve upon gameplay too. So you've got an established publisher. You've got an established, I guess it's like a brand or franchise. The One Deck franchise. But this one is a no-brainer to me. So saved. Once I have the funds for this one's a no-brainer. So I am going to jump straight. That's it for the new solo stuff. Now, I'm not covering GameFound a lot. I will cover GameFound when Kickstarter is slow, but when Kickstarter is hopping, I'm going to try to dial in these videos to make them a little shorter. But there's one on there called 11, which is managing a soccer club. So if you like soccer, football internationally, check that out on GameFound. But you probably already know about that. GameFound is much easier to navigate, and you'll find whatever you're looking for there, no problem. So that's why I'm not linking to it. It's pretty easy to. It's not like this where people are posting tons of RPGs, tons of STL files to print stuff, and zines, lots of zines, which I love all that stuff. I put out zines when I was a teenager for the punk rock hardcore scene. But that stuff's great. It's just a lot to sift through, and it's pretty easy. But isn't it just more fun to come to my YouTube channel and just click on the links? There you go. Just saying. So yeah, One Deck Dungeon to me is no brainer. And so that's it for the Kickstarter stuff. I'm gonna do my honorable mention, which is a non-single player game. We've got QUEERZ TTRPG. I like this. I like the way that they have these standees for your players. I thought that was a cool element. So this caught my eye right here. I really thought that was interesting. Player character, get your old D&D thing, and you're sketching out your character, what they look like, and I still love all that stuff. But to me, character sheets are always something that's really important to me. So this one seemed to have kind of a unique character folios, and so interesting maps where you're not getting the grid. It just looks like a lot of interesting things were changed up and done on this. So I thought this was a really cool looking campaign, and I like to see it's doing well. So probably throw a buck at it so I can follow along, get updates, and just keep track of this one, so I have that saved. Probably do that later. That's my honorable mention, and then I have one accessory, which is this guy, the Meeple Light, which is pretty cool. So it's like a little just light to put on your light stand. You get some LED color shifting and stuff. 7 inches high, and look at that, the Meeple on top of your tree. And you're wrapped up. They should have wrapped up some of these as presents. Wrapped up board games under the tree. So this guy's pretty cool. Excuse me. I think that it is $20 lightless, $36. Nope. $50 with the light. So definitely a luxury item, but super cool. That one caught my eye. And that's going to be it for this one. Please, if you back any of this stuff, comment below. Let me know what you back. Let me know if me pointing you towards any of that helped at all. Let me know if you want more in-depth about certain ones, whether I'm rambling too long, whether I should ramble more, or if I should just come in and try to like blast this out in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I don't think I can do 5 minutes. But 10 minutes is like, here's this one, here's that one, here's that one. Please give me some feedbacks in the comments below. I would really appreciate it. And that's it. And so have fun playing solo.